Hey everyone, welcome back to Crypto Cash. Thank you so much again for joining me here. I hope you're having a fantastic day once more. Taking a look at SUI, it is retesting its all-time high once more. This coin is interesting. It definitely looks like it wants to break out pretty hard. We got our previous all-time high prior to last night at about 237. I'm going to round up a little bit there. Now the all-time high is 238.8, basically 239. So we're in a really precarious situation here. We're going to double check a few things. Keep in mind, it's generally best not to trade into a resistance level. You want to wait for that to be broken and retest it as a support first. That's the best practice. Now, does best practice apply in crypto? Not really, because things have a tendency of wanting to run. Bitcoin is on its way to sweep its upper liquidation level about 77K. And if that happens, there's a strong chance that we're going to see SUI probably break its all-time high once more. So we're in this kind of price discovery unique situation, but the key takeaway here is that I feel like we're going to see one more last leg up for Bitcoin, and that could very well push SUI into that next zone. But once more, liquidation delta for Bitcoin is fairly high. I think we're due to see a correction soon after the next leg up. That's a conversation for another day. Take a look at my Bitcoin video if you're not familiar with that and make your own conclusion. But let's take a look at some liquidation, kind of see if we can make an educated decision here on what's going to happen next. SUI has been fairly well all over the place. Quick congrats to our community members here for some nice profits in case you missed that. Solana 47%, Dogecoin 66%, 42% from Bitcoin, and a second Dogecoin at almost 80%. Again, those were trades taken, a few days ago. Basically, most of those trades actually took place in 24 to 48 hours, just prior to the election. Caught that nice pump there. And at this point, just waiting for things to kind of cool down. I don't really want to take a long at this level, specifically not with Bitcoin. SUI might be a different story. But remember, there's not a ton of meat left on the bone here, too. It would make sense generally to see the price action pull back, but we're still honoring our ascending trend lines, and we don't want to just short into that just because a coin's overextended. That's just not really the best way to go. We can see liquidation 242, about 252. So if the price does spike up with Bitcoin, 250 would be like a logical take profit target range. We can see pretty significant amount of short liquidation data here over the last basically 2 weeks. People have been shorting SUI pretty heavy, and most of our liquidation events are at about 243, or just stop losses and or liquidation in the 240 to 250 range. So again, between now and 250, it would make sense for the price to shoot up to that level just to sweep that extra level liquidation, because that would essentially be price discovery for SUI. We can see that the liquidation delta isn't too high. This is good. This allows for us to leg up again without concern for a massive sell-off. So this is actually a pretty prime situation here. Let's take a quick look at open interest, and just kind of see that people have the most amount of positions open locally here within the last 7 days, more so last 2 or 3 days, at 230/235. So we're right there at that range. People are buying the top. All right, so let's take a quick look at the daily, see what's going on, and recognize a few things here. Let me go ahead and get rid of some of these little arrows, because that definitely can cluster up the charts. Because when we look at here, we can see, first of all, there's a fair value gap as low as about 207. So there is still a possibility to see $2 to 210 retested based on that scenario there. I think that's more likely to occur after we sweep the upper level liquidation. Just as with Bitcoin, we're probably going to see the 74K range again if we see 77 first. A lot of reasons why that should occur. But if we do take a look at some important stuff here, we can recognize money flow index, RSI, everything's looking pretty sweet. Like, there's nothing bad or disadvantageous at all. Majority of daily timeframes on most coins are looking like this right now too. So just know, generally when you look at the daily time frame, you want to look at the RSI and see where it's at. We're under 70, which implies more upside potential for SUI. While we have some resistance above us, obviously we see that on the liquidation because folks are trying to short this coin pretty heavy at the resistance. We're also seeing a stronger likelihood of the price pushing through that with all these bullish convergences. 4-hour time frame reflects similar behavior. We're above all moving averages. We can see the money flow index is above the RSI. That's generally considered as a very positive sign, because we have more money coming into this coin than there is the view of this coin being overbought rather. People still feel like it's a good value. But also, if it's oversold, and the price generally will try to pull back at that point, when you have a lot of money flowing into the coin, backing up that price action, such as open interest here, kind of telling us that most people are in heavy at 230 to 235, we have more sustainability. That local point of control we can see here is holding pretty strong. So again, take a look at this here. People have bought the most SUI at $2 even in the last Well, ever since we've been in this range. So $2, 201, that's pretty heavy concentration. So you can this can be interpreted as strong support. Okay, so we do come down to that $2 mark. You're pretty safe in a long between $2 and 190 as a rough estimate. There's a lot of people having bought that area. Okay, again, points of control are nice to recognize and understand. But it's not, again, the only way to trade. So take a look here at the 4 hour. We can see it's starting to taper off. This isn't a big deal. I love that the money flow index is high, so I'm really sold on SUI being a pretty solid, sustainable option to the upside. But again, if we do happen to see the low $2 mark, it would be pretty much anywhere in the 2 to 210 range would be awesome. I'm not claiming we're going to see that, but if that happens, there's a chunk of support there, and there's a great chance the price will sustain itself. And I think that may happen if Bitcoin makes a run towards the 74, 73K range. I think there's a chance we will see a correction from SUI too. But a lot of that hinges on how SUI breaks its all-time high and, of course, either consolidates or just comes back down. I think we're going to see this liquidation level between 250 and 240 get hit, and then the price will pull back to likely use this 225 to 235 range, because again, that's that local point of control, depending on how you how close you zoom in. Take a look at the Ichimoku Cloud though. This really tells us a lot, honestly. We're still above the cloud, which is generally the most favorable thing. The conversion line and baseline are intersecting, generally construed as not a great sign to buy. Again, this is a conservative indicator, but the lagging span is now free and clear, kind of telling us that a breakout is potentially inevitable. So I think that, in combination with Bitcoin printing a nice, cute little cup and handle on the smaller timeframes, or just basically retesting this high, is strong likelihood where you're going to see a little bit further upside here. I don't think it's going to be a monumental run towards 80K. I just don't think we're going to see that unless we see this much volume flowing back into the coin. We're probably not going to see that kind of sustainability. There's just a lot of, it's too high a liquidation delta to me to feel comfortable with that. I'm mentioning that again, I keep touching on Bitcoin if you're not familiar, because Bitcoin is majority of the catalyst that we're seeing for a lot of altcoins, specifically as of late. Keep in mind, none of these altcoins would be doing well today if Bitcoin had stayed in the 70K range, right? Or sorry, low 70K, essentially upper 69K range. Anyways, that's all food for thought, okay? I hope that you benefit well from the knowledge I just imparted to you. And if you want to do me a favor, just hit the like button, comment below. Do yourself a favor, join us with this, with Bitunix, phenomenal exchange, folks. No KYC or VPN, that's why we use them mostly in the US and Canada, but there's a UK as well. There's a 60K prize pool, progressive, where the top 20 contestants or just participants, you don't have to do anything at all, just trade, gets a pretty solid little bonus. It's all linked down below. Check it out if you're interested. If not, that's cool too. We just really like them as a community. So thanks again for your time. Look forward to seeing the next one. I will update our playout chart here shortly to reflect that on our Twitter, Telegram, and Discord. Looks a little something like this. All right. See you again. Have a good rest of your day. Take care. Bye-bye.